Choose the correct answer from the given ones. Question number 1. In any triangle XYZ is XY to YZ equals sin X to sin Y, sin Y to sin Z, sin Z to sin X, sin Z to sin Y. First we'll draw the triangle XYZ. X, Y, Z. So we'll denote the length of YZ by the symbol X, small x, and here is Y, Z. So we know that X over sine X, it is the sine law. X here is angle equals Y over sine Y equals Z over sine Z. So X is the length of YZ over sine X equals Y. It is the length of XZ here over sine Y equals Z. It is XY over sine. So XY over YZ equals sine Z over sine X, which equal sine Z to sine X. And the result, the answer in letter C. Here is the answer, C. Question number 2. DEF is a triangle in which measure of angle D equals 80 and the measure of angle E equals 60. If F equals 12 centimeters, then D equals space. So first we'll draw the triangle DEF. Measure of angle D equals 80 degrees. Measure of angle E equals 60. And F equals 12 centimeters. Here is F equals 12 centimeters. F equals 12 centimeters. Now here is D. What is the length of D? This is the question. So we will find the relation between D and F. First, we will calculate the measure of angle F. Measure of angle F equals 180 degrees minus 80 plus 60 degrees, because the sum of the interior angles of any triangle equals 180. So it's equal 180 minus 140, which equal 40 degrees. So we write 40 degrees. So applying sine rule, we can say 12 over sine 40 equals d over sine 80. And then d equals 12 multiply sine 80 over sine 40. Where is sine 40? Here it's sine 40, so the solution in letter A. Here we have in question 3, XYZ is an equilateral triangle. The length of its side is 10 root 3. So first we'll draw the triangle. Equilateral triangle here. XYZ is an equilateral triangle. In the equilateral triangle, the measure of any angle equals 60 degrees. Here is we have 60 degrees. Also, the measure of angle X equals 60 degrees. Measure of angle Z equals 60 degrees. The length of its side is 10 root 3. So it is equilateral triangle. The three sides are equal. H equal 10 root 3 centimeters. Then the length of the diameter of its circumcircle is. Now, what is the relation between the sides and the angles and the diameter of the circumcircle? Now we must write a sine rule such that we have x, here is x, over sine x equals y over sine y equals z over sine z. H ratio equals 2r. R here is the radius of the circumcircle. The circle which pass through the three vertices of the triangle, x and y and z. We studied in part 1. Now we know that x over sine x, here x over sine x from the rule equals 2r, and 2r equals the length of the diameter of the circumcircle, and denoted by the symbol d, diameter. Okay, and x equals 10 root 3, so 10 root 3 over sine x, here x equals 60 degrees, equals 2r, or the length of the diameter d. So d equals 10 root 3 divide sine 60, and sine 60 equals root 3 over 2. So it is equal 10 root 3 multiply 2 over root 3. By simplify, we will get the diameter equals 10 multiply 2 equals 20. Of course, we'll divide up and down by root 3. 20 centimeters, and the answer in letter D. Question number 4. In the opposite figure, the length of AB equals approximately how many centimeters? 2 nearest centimeters. Where is AB? Here is AB, denoted by the symbol C here. So we have C. Applying the sine rule, we get C over sine C equals A over sine A. Of course, angle A. Now we must find the measure of angle A here. And measure of angle A equals 180 degrees minus 40 plus 35, which equal, you can use a calculator here. We have 180 minus 40 plus 35, so the result equals 105 degrees. So we complete solution. We have C over sine 40, because measure of angle C equals 40 degrees. It's from the given, equals A, it is 12 centimeters over sine 105. Now C equals, C it is equal AB, the length of AB, cross multiplication equals 12 multiply sine 40 all over sine 105. Back to calculator again. Here we have the fraction 12 multiply sine 40 close over sine, the answer it was 105, so the result equals 7.89, so it is approximately equals 8 centimeters, and the solution will be letter C. Question number 5. A circle with diameter of length equals 20 centimeters. So we can write that 2r, it is the length of the diameter, equals 20 centimeters. Pass through the triangle, pass through the vertices of triangle ABC, which acute angle the triangle in which BC equals 10 centimeters. Now I'll draw the triangle ABC. Considering BC equals 10 centimeters, and this triangle is acute angled triangle. Okay, so the measure of any angle of this triangle, it is its measure less than 90 degrees. So I write A, B, C. Considering BC equals 10 centimeters. Now then measure of angle A. Here the required is to find measure of angle A. Now what is the relation between the measure of the angle A and the opposite side, denoted by the symbol small a here, of length 10 centimeters and the diameter? We know that from the sine rule that A over sine A equals 2r. A equals 10 centimeters over sine angle A equals 2R, and 2R equals 20 centimeters. Okay, 20 centimeters. Now sine A equals, consider 20, it is over 1. So sine A equals 10 multiply 1 over 20, which equal half. Okay, sine A equals half. When sine A equals half, so measure of angle A equals 30 degrees or 180 minus 30, which equal 150 degrees. But they said the triangle is acute angled triangle, right? So this solution is refused because it is obtuse, and we choose the measure of 30 degrees, and the answer will be letter A, and letter A, 30 degrees. Next question. If the length of a side of any triangle is 12 and the measure of the opposite angle to this side is 55, then the circumference of the circle that passes through the vertex of this triangle equals approximately one of these values. Now consider the length of any side. I'll denote it by the symbol A. A equals 12 centimeters, and the measure of the opposite angle of this side, I'll consider it angle A. So measure of angle A equals 55 degrees. Then the required is to calculate the circumference of the circle, and the circumference equals 2 pi r. Circumference of the circle equals 2 pi r. So to calculate it, we must know the length of its radius here, r. So we will use the sine rule, because we know that A over sine A equals 2r, and from that you can say that r equals A over 2 sine A. So we will substitute here. What is the length of A? It's 12 centimeters over 2 multiply sine 55. Now R equals, back to calculator here, 12 over 2 multiply sine 55, which equals 7.3. 7.3. It is R. Okay, I'll write it. It is approximately equals 7.32. I'll increase some numbers here, 5. Okay, so R equals approximately 7.325 approximately centimeters. But the required here is to find the circumference of the circle. So the circumference equals 2 pi r. 2 pi, you can consider it 22 over 7. Okay, 22 over 7 multiply the radius length 7.325, and we will go to calculator and don't delete it, keep it. Okay, keep this number and I'll multiply it by 2, multiply 22 over 7. Okay, so we have this number 7.325 multiply 2 multiply 22 over 7. So the result equals 46.4. To nearest centimeters, it will be 46, and we will choose letter C. Letter C. Okay, I write the number here, equals approximately 46 centimeters. Next question, question number 7. In triangle XYZ, 2r sine x equals one of this. 2r sine x. Now I'll draw the triangle to explain it. Here we have any triangle. Like this. It is the XYZ. XYZ. It is the triangle. Okay. And now we have the length of YZ equals X. And the length of XZ, it is Y. The length of XY, it is Z. Now, X over sine X, X over sine X, X here is the angle. So I must write it in capital letter. Equals 2R. Okay. So considering R over 2R over 1, so cross multiplication, X multiply 1, X multiply 1 equals X, which equal 2R multiply sine X, 2R sine X. So 2R sine X equals X here. So we choose letter C. Next question. If R is the length of the radius of the circumcircle of the triangle XYZ, then y over 2 sine y. Again, we write the relation between y and the angle y and the radius. And we deduce the answer. Y over sine y here equals 2R. Okay, y over 2 sine y. Okay, so we will increase more step here. Y, you can say dividing both sides by 2, so we'll get y over 2 sine y equals R. Again, back to the question. Here, the required is to find y over 2 sine y. Y over 2 sine y equals R. Okay, equals R. So the result, the answer will be in letter A. Next question. Question number 9. In any triangle ABC, sine A plus B over sine A plus sine B equals 1. C over A plus B, A over B plus C, B over A plus C. One of these. First we will write the sine law. In any triangle ABC, we can say that A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine angle C. Okay. Now from this proportion and using the properties of proportion, we can say that A plus B over sine A plus sine B equals one of the ratios equals C over sine C. Okay. Back to the triangle ABC. I'll draw it here in a triangle ABC like this. What is the sum of the interior angles of this triangle? We have A, B, C. Okay, the sum of the three angles of this triangle 180. Okay, so you can say that measure of angle A plus measure of angle B plus measure of angle C equals 180 degrees. So measure of angle C here is C equals 180 minus, okay, measure of angle A, I'll denote it by the symbol A. Okay, and delete it and write A here. Instead of measure of angle A, I write A. Consider it A degrees. A plus B. Again, measure of angle C, it is C. Equals 180 minus measure of angle A plus measure of angle B. So we can write again here C, the measure of angle C here, it is angle, equals 180 minus A plus B. Okay, so we can say that sine C equals sine 180 minus A plus B. So sine C here is sine C equals sine 180 minus A plus B. Sine 180 A plus B equals sine A plus B. Okay, so substitute in this relation here, substitute in 1. We can write A plus B over sine A plus sine B equals C, small c, it is the side. Instead of sine C, I write sine A plus B. Sine A plus B. Okay. Again, back to the properties of proportion. We can say I find the relation here. You can say that C over A plus B, C over A plus B equals Sine A plus B over sine A plus sine B. Okay, so here the required here is to find sine A plus B over sine A plus sine B equals, we deduce that it is equal C over A plus B, and we choose letter B. Letter B. Question number 10, in triangle ABC, A over A plus B equals sine A over space. So we know that A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. C is the measure of the angle C. Now we'll use the first two ratios here. We'll use these two ratios. We have A over sine A equals B over sine B. It means A over B equals sine A over sine B. So A over A plus B equals sine A over sine A plus sine B. It is from the properties of proportional. So the solution will be in letter C here, sine A plus sine B. Question number 11, in triangle XYZ, if 3 sine X equals 4 sine Y equals 2 sine Z, then X to Y to Z equals one of this. Again, we know that X over sine X equals Y over sine Y equals Z over sine Z. But here we have 3 sine X equals 4 sine Y equals 2 sine Z. Now dividing the three terms by 12. 12 is the lowest common multiple of the three numbers 3, 4, and 2. Lowest common multiple, LCM. Okay, so 3 sine X over 12 equals 4 sine Y over 12 equals 2 sine Z over 12. So dividing up and down by 3, what we get? 3 divided 3 equals 1. 12 divided 3 equals 4. Dividing up and down by 4. 4 divided 4 equals 1. 12 divided 4 equals 3. 2 divided 12 equals 1 over 6. So sine x over 4 equals sine y over 3 equals sine z over 6. So x to y to z equals 4 to 3 to 6. And the solution will be in letter C here. Question 12. ABC is a triangle in which sine A over 3 equals 2 sine B over 5 equals sine C over 4. Here we must make the coefficient of sine B equals 1. So dividing the whole proportional by 2, or you can say we multiply by half. It is the same result. So we will get sine A over 6 equals sine B over 5 equals sine C over 8. So we know that sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C. So the ratio will be A to B to C equals 6 to 5 to 8. And the solution will be in letter A.